My name is Sarah Elbert, and today I'll be interviewing Allison Elbert. Allison, what is your definition of ethnicity?
To me, ethnicity is your cultural background, so that can be your religion, or it can be like where your family's from, or what language you speak. Really anything I think can be identified as your ethnicity.
Right. So I think, too, a big issue is that people commonly mistake ethnicity for race. And so I think when we talk about defining ethnicity, we have to make sure we talk about the influences around you. So your cultural influence, your influences around you socially, the influences from your educational background, all of that ties into your ethnicity. What would you say is the most commonly held misconception about people of your ethnicity?
I would say the most commonly held misconception is that people of my ethnic background usually are believed to be like from a higher standpoint in society. So they come from upper class or middle class, and that they haven't really faced any hardships in life, which I think isn't true for a lot of people. And they're just kind of placed into this big lump of you haven't actually been through anything, you haven't faced anything because of your ethnicity.
Have you ever felt excluded based on your ethnicity? And if so, why?
I personally have never felt excluded based on my ethnicity, usually just because I am not in a particular minority group, so I'm usually surrounded by people who are like me culturally, and then also based off my religious ethnicity, I surround myself with people who feel the same way that I do about certain things, so I never really feel excluded. I have felt kind of a little bit like a smaller representation in my ethnicity, but I wouldn't ever say I've been excluded.
Do you remember excluding others based on ethnicity?
Yeah, I definitely do. I'm from a smaller town, and so growing up, we had these kind of societal norms that we followed of excluding others who weren't like us, and that's not saying it's right, and that's not making an excuse for it, but it's just kind of what we did, and it was just the normal routine, and so we often did, and like I said, not an excuse, but we definitely have, because people were not like us, they didn't look like us, they didn't sound like us or talk like us, and so because of that, we really did exclude them from ourselves, and we secluded ourselves from them.
How important is it that people understand people of other ethnicities?
I think it's really important to be able to surround yourself with people who aren't like you, and it's important to understand what makes them them. And to some people, their ethnic background doesn't mean anything to them, and they really don't mind. But to a lot of people, it's really important, whether that's their religion. Like, we need to understand that people of different religions have different mindsets over certain things, or if it's what they are. Like, say, if they identify as Latino, and you were to call someone Mexican and they were Puerto Rican, they might be really offended by that. And I think it's really important to understand that if someone wants to be identified as something of a certain ethnic group, then they should get that right to identify them as that. And it's also important just to understand what makes everyone different, because we're not all from the same place. We all haven't experienced the same things, and so it's really important to understand what has brought someone to their place that they're in right now currently, because if you don't, we kind of just get complacent with our views in society. We need to remember the intersectionality of everything and how it's brought everyone to everywhere. And if you want to be understood and heard and felt like you're being seen from that ethnicity, whatever that is, then you have the right to be seen as that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.